Hey everybody, welcome to the Not Move podcast hockey show in the Wickets. It's me and your boy A Train here with our good friend Southgate. A Train, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Good in yourself, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. And Southgate, how are you doing tonight?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling kind of south of the gate.
I'm feeling a little bit south of the gate watching these games going on right now, right?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and get into it, and hopefully we have a little bit of company later. But if not, we can roll as we always do because we are not moved and we are the best at making audibles. Tonight we do have some games going on, but first we're gonna do as we always do and check in with the standings. And since his team is number one, we always got to go west. We always got to go west first for the number one team in the NHL for the Colorado Avalanche, sitting at 95 points. A Train, you are 5 points ahead of the next person there, which is the Dallas Stars at 90, followed by the Wild at 87. And who would be the Avalanche's first opponent in the playoffs if they did start today? The Utah Mammoth with 73 points. You're sitting pretty, A Train, looking really good, man.
Yep. Obviously, we are the top cup favorite. I mean, it's a known fact we are the first to 40 wins. The return of Nazem Kadri definitely boosts just the team in general. We have the best goal differential, and Scott Wedgwood is playing out of his mind at goalie, which has really been, I think, the game changer this season.
Yeah, I like what your goaltending has been doing. Of course, the number one Norris Trophy candidate, Kale McCarr, has been doing his business out there with Devin Taves. Your team has just been stacked and scoring. Our boy Nate Dogg, recently in a little bit of controversy, which we could talk about here in a little bit, which for you and I is not controversial, but we'll get into that. He, of course, is in the leads with Connor McDavid and Kucherov, top three in points once again. Seems like this has been the last 3 year thing, and in the lead for the MVP. Southgate, have you been able to pay attention to anything going on for the Colorado Avalanche as they lead the West?
Yeah, I mean, I'm, I'm I mean, they're a great team. They're put together very well. I've been watching them. They dominate a lot of games. I'm just afraid they're a little too hot. I don't want them to get into the playoffs and cool down. I mean, that would be the only bad thing I could see for them.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
You know.
Yeah, and also too, to be honest, we'll touch on that later because there is a topic that we'll tap in on, which is for the
Now, wait,
President's Trophy winners.
just correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry to interrupt. There are no buys in hockey, right?
Bye
There,
week?
no, there's just off days, obviously, in between games since they play like sometimes 3 to 4 games a week. And real quick,
No,
ladies
no,
and
I'm saying
gentlemen.
when you get into the playoffs.
Oh no, they'll play. Usually, sometimes they'll go a day in between the games in the first, and then sometimes they get back to backs for homes.
So
But
you said the first team they would play would be Utah.
yeah, the first team they would be playing would be the Utah Mammoth right now, which I do like Utah. I think they're cagey, but like A Train and I said with that trade for Mackenzie Weegar, they had Utah's looking more like a future team right now. So this would be
Okay,
nice
so
to
it's
see them get in the playoffs, but
yeah, but the
you know.
only thing I'm curious about is it's not a team where Colorado could go in there cocky and half lackluster and Utah somehow surprise them.
No.
No, I don't think so. But real
Okay.
quick, we're going to put a pause on everything because we do have one of our friends who we promised that was joining the show earlier. He was able to pop on in. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the Snake Sports Talk Show. We have our man Jake Silva. Thanks for joining us, Jake. How you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic, man. It's awesome to be here and appreciate you guys for, bringing me up and inviting me. So love to get into some hockey talks because we've been yet to do this after, the post trade deadline. And now that we're in, March, getting ready for April, May, it's going to get, dicey all the way to the end.
Yeah, definitely. We're taking a look right now at the standings in this central division of the West with Avalanche clearly on top at 95 points, followed by the Stars, Wild, and the Mammoth. And right now, that's the playoff shakeup for the Central. I don't see the Mammoth falling anytime soon to the Predators, and the Predators taking that final spot. I'm pretty I think we're pretty destined to see the Avalanche and the Mammoth. But Jake, I'm curious. We all have said that we don't think that matchup would be really that tough for the Avalanche in the first round. What are your thoughts if they match up against the Mammoth in the first round?
I think what it comes down to is that the first time that we'll ever see the Utah Mammoth ever make it into a postseason. But I think this also, for diehard hockey fans, this has to kind of make you feel a little bit bittersweet because of the fact of you couldn't see, the Arizona Coyotes for years, making it up and into the postseason. We've seen them years ago as an expanded franchise to where they make it all the way into the championships. And then by then, after the Shane Doan years, it was like, what was this team really going to end up doing? I mean, they changed from Phoenix and then to Arizona. Then the ownership, eventually sold this group to go into Utah, which was unfortunate for all the fans in Arizona. So I feel happy for them to punch their ticket in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I think they are going to get a taste of what the competition and what, the platforms really laid out because of teams like Colorado and Winnipeg and Dallas, and even for some teams into the West. I mean, this could be the first time, we may see, the Anaheim Ducks after a whole entire years of rebuild. And so that's going to be pretty nice to kind of get a little nostalgic to see these teams in here.
One interesting thing that I heard said by the Wild GM Billy Guerin recently was something that we have all been clamoring about and wanting is the 1 through 8 format back in the playoffs for the NHL. This division beat 'em up has been fun for a little bit. For me, it was only fun for the first couple years, in my opinion. I like seeing the 1 through 8 matchup because it has a lot of different variants to it, right? You're going to see a lot different styles of play, and I don't like the people say it's okay, it's better matchups for divisional opponents to be able to clash before they finally get to see the other side. Personally, I'm against that. A-Train, I'll start with you. How do you feel about the current playoff format of just divisional people going after each other before they meet the other division opponents?
See, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I'm good with it, honestly. I'm good with it. I think hockey is good as it is. I don't want to change it personally. I might be the outlier, but that's how I feel about it.
Southgate, any thoughts on the playoff format as it is right now?
No, I like if you're saying the divisions go at it before the whole conference 1 through 8. I'd rather see the conference 1 through 8 go at it
Yeah, and
that
that's
way.
where I stand, of course, too. And Jake, we really haven't had a chance, so I'm interested as to where you stand on the topic right now.
Well, I think as far as, we've seen so many various playoff formats for years. I mean, the best playoff format that we always tune into is the NFL because of the way that they structure everything from the seeding purposes to the division winners and how they break all that down. And then you have the first team that gets the first round bye. I feel like, the NBA was kind of in this similar predicament. Now, the NHL, the way that they've broken this down with the three, the wild card opponents, and then the 3 teams that make it up out of the divisions. To me, I'm kind of 50-50 on this because I do like the way it is right now because ultimately teams that get in here, it's like we kind of say this about college football. You come into the college football playoff, you're basically getting an invitation to the Met Gala because you're now getting your free cocktail drink card and you're speaking with all of the best of the programs like Alabama and such who've been winning titles for so long. Whereas in this predicament, you talk with the Vegases, the Colorados, and even just, the Tampa Bays of the world. So, do I see this being an adjustment? It has to make sense if you're going to do it, right? Because, the NBA, they're pretty much as easy as can be. You have the West and the East, where if you're going to do this, then there'd be no Atlantic, no Pacific, no Central, and no Metropolitan. So everybody is all fair game at the end of this. And if you're going to take the 8 best teams from each side, those are the 8 best teams that deserve to be there because of the additions they made on from the offseason and the trade deadline. And they have the best group to make it. So I feel like right now, I see this as it's kind of still healthy moving forward. But if they were to choose to do this on an adjustment, it just has to make sense for a lot of the viewership purposes. If you really want, the viewerships to continue to climb because the competition atmosphere is growing vastly, and that's what we want.
Yeah. And one thing I do think Billy Guerin said this for And I think we can all say it safely as he's looking at how the stars are aligning for his division and the playoffs. And it's not a fun ride unless you play the Mammoth, really. That's it. You're either going to face the stars. I don't see the Avalanche drop into that second position. So the Wild, it's an uphill battle either way. So no wonder Billy Guerin might this year specifically prefer that format. And I do think that this format currently has really benefited the Oilers the last 2 years.
It has.
I think we can all safely say that it has really benefited them. You can plan for the Kings almost every year except for this year, and we really are going to see that change. But we're going to go ahead and break away since we have you for a limited time here, Jake, and go ahead and break into the player profile of the week, Pavel Dorofeyev. I know that this man is your guy. He's a kind of a diamond in the rough, so to speak, based off of what scouts thought of him and where he was picked. Please go ahead and talk about your boy, Jake.
Yeah, Pavel Dorofeyev. I mean, the fact of him in his fourth season in the NHL and straight out of Russia, an entire country that is filled with talent. I mean, from Ovechkins to Nikita Kucherov, Pavel Dorofeyev really has fit himself in well as a youngster in the Vegas Golden Knights system. And remember, this is also somebody that unexpectedly we didn't see him become the ultimate goal scorer that this team has been looking for years, since the last time when William Karlsson in the inaugural years scored up over 40 goals. So they've been fighting to find that strict goal scorer for quite a while. And for Pavel Dorofeyev, I mean, this is a guy that he can really round himself up on all sides. But the whole entire meaning is he's there. He's basically an option to when you set things up for him to then just take the puck and shoot it straight for the back of the net. And it took a little bit of time, right? You start out where in the first year was kind of rough. Then by 23, he got better as he kind of moved and was kind of getting acclimated to this group. And by 7 goals to 13 goals in the 2 years there, then he's just absolutely unleashed into 2 seasons with 30 goals. So it takes a little bit of time because that's what Bruce Cassidy wants. Is Bruce Cassidy wants the opportunity to really establish his whole lines, but making sure it's a balanced core to where they're doing everything. They're scoring goals. They're getting aggressive at shooting for the net. They're also aggressive on defense to get the puck back up and onto the offensive sides. So Pavel Dorofeyev really has fit in well, and especially as one of those second to third liners, depending on the situations that they have him in. Bruce Cassidy has really used him out well. Now, the question is, what does this mean as far as contract is concerned? Because once you get a goal scorer who is making about 30 plus goals a season, of course, that's going to now have the extension talks of somewhere of upwards, probably not into the contracts of a guy like Kirill Kaprizov or Nathan McKinnon. I think it's just too early for that. But you will want to have a competitive market to where he's paid handsomely. And at the same time, if he continues this whole tear for 30 plus goals in like the next, I'd say 3 years, then that's where you really want to have the conversation of maybe a bigger max contract.
Yeah, what does it look like here? You have him locked in until the end of this year, correct? And then he's a
Yep.
restricted free agent.
Yes.
So I'm sure I doubt you're going to see too many offer sheets given how the NHL has been with the last few years with restricted free agents. I mean, one thing that you hit on the head is finally when he gets that playing time, when he's getting full games and 82, 35 goals right off the bat. And you're looking at a man who's played 65 right now and is almost eclipsing all of his stats. He's definitely better on the power play this year. You noticed that right off the bat. Special teams, Pavel, has been very nice to watch. The one thing that I think, if anything, that you can knock on him, and I think it's part of some of his line mates' issues, is just maybe not great on the defensive back end right now because either
Yes.
someone is picking up slack for someone else, but also Vegas's current play style doesn't dictate forwards to be that defensive.
Right. And they're more geared toward more on the offensive side. And to me, you want to have your best 6 guys up front that is going to score up offensively, because the bottom half of the lines, they either are playing as your special teamers. These are your guys that either can be the extra goal in case of your 2 fronts doesn't quite get the job done. But then you also want to be smart about where the goaltender is going to be moving at all times. How is he sticking with the puck? But then at the same time, you're also evaluating how is the defensive sets really putting on? Are they more of are they more of just kind of containing the spots, like whether you're going a little bit more up front in the perimeter, or are they mostly geared towards kind of closing up lanes if you're trying to get a one-timer out into the back end? So that's something that I think, the Golden Knights really want to work out more. And that's something Kelly McCrimmon really has to address at this, because I've always said this, I would prefer to have a guy in the special teamers, much like, and I've said this on the radio years ago, of someone like a Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. I think he does best of just, back and forth offense and secondary defense, because to me, if you're out there, and this is what the Golden Knights did in the first couple of years with Gerard Gallant, the puck and go type of philosophy, right? You go and take the puck in, you take matters in your own hands, and you get aggressive up and on offense. But then what do you do if you break away and now your defense is all kind of pulled away and now your goaltender is left exposed? You don't want to be put into that position to where now all your defense is out and now there's more chances for one-timers or two-on-ones. That's something that they really have to be precise on, because if you don't have that special teamer on defense, let alone someone on offense to be the secondary defenseman, if one or both of them pretty much just fall out on the spots, then that's where you could really, really be exposed. And you would be probably more of a first-round exit at the end of it, because you're leaning so much of the pressure onto your goaltender, and your goaltender's looking at you like, guys, I can't defend the pucks all by myself. I need to have secondary helps to collapse the spots and, pretty much collide at the lanes and find ways to keep the puck onto our side on the offense and get the puck away and play superior defense.
No, you're right. You're right. Now, A-Train, you see Pavel quite a bit being a Western Conference guy, and your team has seen the Vegas Golden Knights before. So the last 2 years, though, this year and the last year, you've really got to see what this could be for the Golden Knights should they lock him down for the future, and something that, while the Avalanche are one of those just fully loaded teams, that everyone should be aware of. This is a guy you got to be aware of in the future, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, me and Jake, we banter back and forth. We talk shit to each other constantly. But it's because he's a Vegas Golden Knights fan, and another thorn in our side come playoff time. You're always there, Jake, and you're always seeming to give my Avalanche fits.
But we always seem to make it a game every time when we face it up, whether it's regular season or it's playoff hockey at the end of the day for the last 3 years.
That's right. Like I said, you've been a thorn in our side, just like Dallas. Like you're always there. You guys are always making a push late. So I tip my hat. I'm not the biggest fan of the Golden Knights, but I tip my hat. They are a good team.
And Southgate, I know you've been hopping back in with hockey with us and paying attention. Have you gotten a chance to pay attention to our player of the week at all? Have you gotten a chance to see anything from him?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been watching Pavel. Last 2 games, not much, but before that, I mean, the last 5 games, he's got 4 points. He's got 2 goals out of the last 5. I really like what he does. I like the way he fits into the team. I have no problems with him at all. I mean, just alone in the last 3 games, he's gotten off 11 shots on goal. I mean, last 5 games, he's gotten off 17 shots on goal. So, I mean, Jake, what were you saying? When is it time for him to get paid?
It would be time for him to get paid, like, by the time that he's hitting 30-plus goals. But you want to pay him at the respected market, because you don't want to end up overpaying, and now you're having to try to find a way to backload it in the end if your team is struggling to make the moves. And then not to mention, making trade deadline moves that could possibly not even have this team a playoff team.
Yeah, so he's at 30 goals right now. So, I mean, this is his first time hitting it?
Second time. Mm-hmm.
Second time? Okay, so, and he hit it last year?
Yep, he hit it with 35 goals last year.
Okay, and how many years is he in the league now?
This is his 4th season in the league. So he's right now kind of hitting the trend of the second go around is more of I would say like in baseball terms, right? You win a game, then you win one tomorrow. It's the start of something. And then when you win another one, that's called a winning streak. And so at that point, you're pretty much on the hot hand of probably going to be paid at like one of the high price of the forward.
Yeah, no, I like I actually like Pavel. I like him and Eichel. Do they play on the same line?
I think there's times where he kind of trades off like first and second line, just depending on the scheme sets, because it also does depend on too when you got Mark Stone, whether he's fully healthy or he's up and on the injured reserve. So that usually just depends on it. If he ends up getting injured, they'll put Pavel up and into the front, and if Mark Stone
Do
is
they put
healthy,
him
they'll
with
put him in second.
Marner or more or?
I think I'm going to say they do put him with Marner in that line because we know with Eichel and Stone, and there's even some parts too where I kind of see like Riley Smith often kind of comes up and into that role depending on it. But it's just been really weird without William Karlsson in the middle of this line and at this point now. So that's kind of been a spot that's been exposed.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen out of him, I know it's only been limited time. I'm like Graham said, I'm just getting back into hockey, but I don't see a reason why this man shouldn't be paid.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and with tonight's lines that they're showing against the Penguins right now, which you and I are not friends wholly right now, Jake. Not until tomorrow. He is going to be on the second line as of right now with the early skate lines with Thomas Hertl and Mitch Marner. They're showing Mark Stone being in the lineup with Jack Eichel and Barbashev on that first line. So, I mean, Barbashev and Dorofeyev are pretty much interchangeable sometimes on those two slots. All just matters. Like, I really like Mitch Marner with Pavel. I think Mitch Marner is a better playmaker for him than, say, being with Mark Stone. But the thing about Mark Stone is he opens up more space due to that big body size and being so physical, and that creates opportunities for Pavel. What kind of contract do you think he's going to be looking at? What do you think they're going to offer him given the cap room that is supposedly going to go up from currently 95 million to 104? So, and according to this right now, you are going to have a roughly 5 to 10 million in cap room as of right now, given any contracts, coming or going. What do you think they're going to be able to offer him, and what do you think he's going to accept?
I think is, at him at 25 years old, he's in his prime and, built his way up to it. I think this would probably be best. I mean, you're looking at a lot of because unfortunately with Kirill Kaprizov and the contract that he ended up signing up, that's where it really pushed guys like Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, because here's the thing. The Avalanche were in the same predicament when it came to Rantanen when they knew that this was just going to be way too expensive and it's not worth it because you're already paying a star player that money. And at the same time, he goes and gets dumped off to Carolina, then eventually gets traded to Dallas, and Dallas ends up inking him 8 years. I think if I really had to be realistic up on this, I think for Dorofeyev, I would probably settle him at somewhere at like a 6-year contract. I think that's about as good of a bargaining deal because you can work with that amount and for the years and the extension and where you want to load it, whether it be you pay 2 years up front and then find a way to kind of really backload it in the end. I think that would be the best thing that you can put a smile on his face and just show that, hey, you are an elite goal scorer and you are exactly what we look for without even having to go into the free agent market to find someone like that. So he's already kind of built into this system. So it only makes sense because this atmosphere, you built the chemistry with these lines. And I think 6 years, in my opinion, doesn't seem to be a bad idea. When you get to the 8-year mark, it just really has to make sense because you overpay it for that much. Good luck having to find suitors to take the contract because now you're going to be begging for, capital in the end of it and have to restart this. And this is where, too, I always have harped about this, about why we continuously trade away a lot of our first-round picks. Because eventually, when we get to this point of like this is where it really will hurt us. If we don't have a first-round pick, there's no way that we can be able to reload and keep securing our future year after year. So we have to really tread on this lightly as much as we traded the picks away and then going and picking up someone like Nick Dowd, that's where they really have to start focusing on from this point forward. So I think 6 years is about as fair as you can make it. If you get to 8 years, it just has to make sense. But if they overpay it, that's where you really will see more of the kink in the armor for the Golden Knights if they can't figure this out.
Good pun. I like that. I like that. That was crafty.
Looking at raw numbers for your team here, Jake, he's eligible just off of a restricted free agency contract before arbitration. He's eligible for 6.5 just right off the bat, given
Mm-hmm.
off of performance and everything. So I would imagine that if they're going to lock him down at a 6 year contract, I'm thinking 8 million, 8 to
Yes.
8.5 for him. That's a
Mm-hmm.
reasonable rate for a guy who's in his prime and starting to finally come up, especially given the Golden Knight system. Like you said with the draft picks, unfortunately, this year's draft pick, I believe, goes to Calgary, right, for the Noah Hannafin trade.
Yep. Goes
Okay.
to Calgary for the Noah Hannafin trade. Not to mention giving away a first-round pick to the Washington Capitals in the Nick Dowd trade. And so that's one that we really have to think about.
Yeah, your fourth round pick for the Capitals, and you do have 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. So we'll see what ends up happening, especially with the offseason after this cup run here. We're going to see, what trades may shake out. And before we let you go, I do have to ask, what is your prediction for your team? Looking how they're looking right now in the playoffs, they're in a sticky situation. Their standings right now, they're going to be playing the Oilers right off in the first round, right off the bat, and they're going to face a winner of either the Ducks or Kraken. I think that series between you guys goes 7 games if you do face the Oilers. And
Yep.
for me, it's a toss up of who wins. In your opinion, how do you see the playoffs shaping out for the Golden Knights?
Well, I think, for the Vegas Golden Knights, we've kind of always have been put with this saying is that, when we get our boys healthy at the right time, we're a completely different team on the ice when it comes to the playoffs. Like there's a point to me where the Vegas Golden Knights, I always say that when the regular season comes around, you got to be able to hit your pointers. You got to be able to grab wins. You got to be able to grab points, even if you're going into overtime. Find a way to get that second point. If you can't, you walk away with it. Doesn't matter. You can then go and find it the next night. But I just think with them right now, they just have to get up and onto the same pages. If they're not willing to end up playing the type of defense like they have been in the past and what won them the Stanley Cup, then that's where it's really going to end up, going reverse. We know Rasmus Anderson, the newly acquired trade was somebody that we really had high hopes for. And to me, I wasn't pleased with it because of one, I don't think he's not a talented player. I think he's very good, but for who he gave up, Zach Whitecloud, he was a part of our Stanley Cup winning run. And at the same time, he can play superior defenses, get his body up front, and then find ways in which he can be aggressive when it comes to the physical play. So I think when we get our guys healthy and depending on that, because there's going to be moves in the offseason, I really do feel like this could be the last days that we may see William Karlsson, in my opinion. I think the injury really has gotten worse than what we anticipated. And for as long as the contract is, there's no need to really kind of carry on that contract. I can see potential suitors, maybe even teams that really need a Stanley Cup veteran in their presence. I mean, Detroit could be a team that really could want someone like that, even Columbus or other places. But, somebody that's willing to take the contract and then find a way to get capital in the middle of it back in return. So I think it really all is keep yourselves healthy. And then at the same time, find a way to build the chemistry on defense before the playoffs themselves start. The minute the playoffs are open, then that's where you really have to be at your all-time best, because we saw even with Edmonton, and I was really impressed with it last year. They lost to the Edmonton Oilers, but they played a lot from the very last game like they were not out of a fight. They kept fighting even with injuries, and it came all the way down to an overtime goal that just got into Edmonton's way. But I've been impressed with Anaheim. I have been impressed with, the Seattle Kraken. But we do know that this West Division, the Pacific, it really hasn't been the kind of the tough competitive Pacific that we've seen in the last couple of
No,
years. And so
nope, you're
now it's
right.
mostly been the Central. So there's still time, in my opinion. If you focus on the Pacific, by the time you reach to teams like Dallas or, Colorado, or even in the midst of a Winnipeg, you really have to bring up on your A game. Otherwise, you're going to be eliminated. But I wouldn't be shocked they make it through in the first round if that's the case. But when it comes to the second round, you're going to need to continuously get focused and keep the juice running while it still lasts, because off season you're going to see this team make a bunch of moves, but it's also going to be the moves that's going to keep the future intact.
Facts.
Right now in the Pacific, you and the Oilers, same amount of games left, 7 games,
Yep.
same amount of points. Now the Ducks have a game in hand. They have 9 games, or I mean 8 games left. So that's where the Ducks have 3 points right now. They're 3-point lead. I see them winning the Pacific if they keep it at this rate, especially they've been on a hot streak, since the break. They finally they're 8-10 the last 10 though. What I haven't liked seeing right now, it's just the Oilers look. If you guys play the Oilers in the first round, I really think this is a great advantage opportunity for Vegas. I really feel like this is where they can take the Oilers down, cement their place in beating the Ducks or the Kraken, and finding out who they're going to see in the conference finals. The Oilers look disheveled. They look little on edge, don't they? And with the Golden Knights being right on their tails and tied with them right now, trying to amble for that home ice spot. I think this is where you guys take the opportunity, Jake.
I also do think too, because there are some teams that are outside looking in, and when I look at it up into the midst of the playoff spots between Utah and Seattle, I mean, you really have to ask yourself, do the Kings really look trustworthy after they fired their coach? I mean, it's I know it's something that's been a trend in the NHL where you fire your coach in the quarter of the season, and then all of a sudden you bring somebody in. They keep trying to do this Craig Berube experiment, and I'm like, look, that only happened because they had the group, they had the team. It was all about getting the right coach in the building to now make everything work. And that's why they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. Whereas you get a team that mostly is building up a lot of their young core. Yeah, you still have Drew Doughty, and you still have a couple of other veteran experienced pieces. But this Kings team, I mean, they are turning the right page, but it has to go from somebody that can really, shape up for the future. I really love with what the Sharks have been doing. I'm impressed with what San Jose has done with Misa and with Macklin Celebrini. I think this team really does have a future. Now, would it make sense for the Sharks to make it into the playoffs this year? Only time will tell, because I still think there is about one more year to really reshape this up and get the free agents that they want. But if you don't make the playoffs, don't be upset about that. I think they're very much one step closer. But I think if they do, be happy for them. But at the same time, you get the playoff experience. But now you have to kind of reshape your focus going into the off season, because now you're a playoff caliber team. So now you have to really start thinking about, the bigger picture. So I think there's a chance in which the Golden Knights, they have to get themselves back up and on track. Losing 3 straight games right now doesn't seem to look well for them. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like there's too much to worry about right now at this moment, with the majority of the teams, the 4 teams, Utah, Seattle, LA, and San Jose on losing streaks. And then you only have the Predators who just got their win. So there's still plenty of time for that, but they can't really be nonchalant about this either. So hopefully they can take advantage of it. But the teams that are outside looking in, that's going to be quite an uphill battle all the way up to the end of who really makes the 2 wildcard spots.
Well, Jake, I want to take the time to say thank you. We all appreciate you joining us to talk some puck. I know we have you on limited time here, so we're going to go ahead and let you go. Hopefully, we can get you back sometime to join us for the playoff talk. But where can we find you? Where are you streaming? Give out your props. Give it all out, Jake.
Well, for people that know, I mean, I am definitely a hockey nerd at first. But for people that definitely love sports and that love entertainment and love the best of both worlds, definitely come and check out the Snake Sports Talk Show, where we have a show every Monday and Wednesdays where We're up on X Squad Radio. We're on Roku, and we are getting the best of the best interviews as well. We've actually had some hockey talk in the previous episode with Dan Sexton and with Alexei Semenov. Was really impressed by them. But we've got a lot more along the way next week. And, of course, a couple of changes, so stay tuned for that because going to be heading back up and into work next week, Wednesday. So excited to be back up and on it. Really excited. It's been quite a while being at home, being kind of cooped up and hanging out with little man, but time to get back into the grind, time to get back into work and, really reshape and kind of refocus up from here. So definitely check out the Snake Sports Talk Show on all social medias and also wherever you guys find your podcasts.
Once again, thanks for joining us, man. We can't wait to talk with you again when the playoffs come. And everybody, we're going to go ahead and take a quick ad break before we come back and do a little bit of
Jake,
discourse about the Buffalo Sabres.
Absolutely, guys.
Good luck. One quick question. Do you have anyone exciting coming up that we should know about?
We may end up having, I just got a couple of connections. I got maybe potentially Bud Norris, the Houston Astros pitcher, and Baltimore Oriole. I also ended up getting some connections with Morgan Moses as well, still kind of keeping up from there. But I've had a bunch more connections along the way. So kind of keep everybody all up and in tune for that. Even Mark Collins Sr., the Super Bowl champion for the New York Giants. Yep. I'd be really ecstatic up for there and have him and maybe potentially Stephen Baker, the most iconic Super Bowl catch to start the game off against the Buffalo Bills. Love to get his insights on that.
Well, great job, Jake. Keep it going.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you again next time. Thank you, everybody. Please go check out Jake and the Snake Sports Talk Show. It's great. He does great interviews. This has been wonderful, Jake. I can't thank you enough. It's been awesome to talk the Golden Knights with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Take care and have a good night.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, guys, after this little ad break.
No, but Friday nights, 9 Eastern, it's the Dribble NBA edition on the Not Move podcast. We break down the week, the trades, the highlights, everything around the league. Tap in, chop it up with us, and get the takes that move the game forward. Stay not moved.
If you're craving baseball talk that doesn't flinch, tap in with us Monday nights at 8 Eastern.
It's the Rusty Mitt MLB edition of the Not Move podcast. Breakdowns, debates, all the swings and misses without the fake fluff.
Join us live or catch the replay wherever you get your pods. Rusty Mitt, not moved. Stay not moved.
Tap into the Not Move podcast every Friday night at 8 Eastern.
We're bringing the scrap sheet, UFC edition.
Every jab, every takedown, every headline.
All the fights, all the drama, all the picks, right here.
Watch live on YouTube or listen anywhere you get your podcast. Hit follow, hit subscribe.
And stay not moved.
Tuesday nights just got louder. Ringside Rewind is live every week, 9 Eastern.
We're breaking down Raw, SmackDown, and everything leading into the weekend. If it happens between the ropes, we're talking about it.
Deep dives, hot takes, and a few surprise
and
replays.
A whole lot of arguing.
Yeah, but the good kind. Ringside
Every Thursday night, the Not Move podcast drops a new episode of
In the Wickets,
our deep dive on everything around the NHL.
We break down the plays, the trades, the stats, and the stories that matter.
Plus a few hot takes along the way.
Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern or catch it on your favorite podcast app right after.
Same energy, same audition.
The world's game has a new home. Tap into the Not Move podcast every Sunday night at 9 Eastern. It's the football edition, and I'm bringing you the L Uncle Max attack, everything World Cup, every angle, every goal. Breakdowns, laughs, and all the passion in the pitch. Stay locked, stay ready.
Morning bettors, welcome back to Angling the Odds on the Not Move podcast.
Every Monday and Friday, we tear into lines, probabilities, and hidden edges across the boards.
We run the numbers, chart the trends, and find value plays so you can tilt the odds your way.
Live at 10:30 Eastern. Mark it, lock it, and join the conversation.
All right. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We wanted to take some time since we got to talk about the West a little bit, now talk about the East. And obviously, the team who has been on everybody's radar is the Buffalo Sabres. They're on an 8-game winning streak. Tage Thompson has been absolutely incredible during this time. You know, the defense, Dahlin, Power, Byram, Samuelson, they're really showing that this team is ready now. They are leading the division by 4 points currently with their 2 games more played. So they have 7 games left, whereas the Lightning can feasibly come back and either tie this or overtake them. A-Train, the Sabres have finally kind of got something back to what we remember the Sabres being, a good competitive team in the East year in and year out when we were younger, and it's nice to see it happen. They're tough, man. What do you think about this team?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming, right? These Buffalo Sabres are something to be reckoned with now. The thing that I saw when I was looking at this team is, they're making NFL or they're making NHL history. I always say NHL history because this team is making one of the biggest midseason turnarounds I've ever seen in hockey. I mean, the run that they're on right now, I think they're 29-5-2, right? After being last place in the standings. So for them to have had a turnaround like this, it's historic, and I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see them turn this franchise around.
Southgate, what do you got to say about this good team here now, Buffalo?
I actually like what I see out of Buffalo. I like the players on Buffalo. Ever since I've been watching hockey, again, they've been cooking. As a matter of fact, tonight they're actually tied 1-1 at the end of the second. But yeah, no. Buffalo has been really, really good. I can't say anything more about them, but they really have been cooking.
Yeah, they are tied 1-1 with Sam Carrick having that goal. Buffalo, we remember them in the 2000s and the late 90s just being this team that was always in the mix, of course, with now the head coach who is back for another tenure, Lindy Ruff. Lindy Ruff came back last year. And this team wasn't so bad with Granado at the helm. They were just under or over 500, but missing the playoffs. But now they're harnessing the talent, this young talent, especially Tage Thompson. He was very good in the Olympics as well. Maybe he wasn't as loud with the scoring as we see him in the NHL, but A-Train, I know you and I watched him in those Olympics and we noticed how big and quick he was.
Yeah, this guy is something to be. If you want a good center, just watch what this guy does on the ice, man. Yeah, they're a dominant force now. This is crazy, right? Two separate streaks of 8+ wins, and then a 10+ win streak. So, I mean, it's crazy what this team has accomplished and what they're doing. I like their forwards as well. I like Jack Quinn. They have depth at scoring, and they were aggressive at the trade deadline, right? And this has built this crazy season for them, right? They're the true underdog story, right? If we're to write one.
Yeah, and you named something that you hit it right on the head. Scoring depth. I like the scoring depth that they have. You can see it across the board. It's Tage Thompson is leading the way in points, but right behind him is Dahlin. The defenseman. He's up there being able to move the puck. But I like Jason Zucker as well. He was a former Penguin, so obviously I'm going to have some love for him. But ever since coming to the Sabres, I think he's been a lot better than shortly after when he was traded. I also like that Owen Power, the former number one pick, is really starting to come into his own, starting to form into a good young defenseman. I think the only thing that might be questionable for this team going into the playoffs is the goaltending, which seems to be a question for everybody if we're really talking goaltending across. Southgate in Buffalo right now, if you look at them, they are going to play the Tampa Bay, or no, they're going to play the Red Wings in the first round, given the division. So it would be the Sabres and Red Wings in the first round right now. I think if that series happens, Southgate, I think the Sabres probably beat them in 5 games. No disrespect to our friend Yukon out there who is a big Red Wings fan, but what do you think, Southgate, if the Sabres and Red Wings play in the first round?
I don't know how good the Red Wings goalie is, but I noticed they're in a lot of the lowest scoring games in the last 2 to 3 weeks since we've been doing the show. Them and Boston, Pittsburgh hit and miss on a night. Sometimes Pittsburgh's in a really low scoring game or it gets out of control. Philadelphia and Minnesota are also in a lot of low scoring games.
Especially since we've seen these 9-point games, right, Southgate? Those
Yeah,
ones really pop
I've been
out,
seeing some
right?
crazy games.
Right.
I
I
mean,
mean,
what
like,
just what was it earlier this week? We saw Buffalo and Tampa Bay go for an 8-7 game, or what was it? They Buffalo came back
Yeah.
and 8 goals in that game.
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Just
I'm looking at right now Toronto and Anaheim are 3-3, tied 3-3 on the second.
Oh wow.
yeah, Buffalo has the power to score. You know, they have the most goals for in the Eastern Conference right now out of all the teams. Their goals against is pretty decent as well. If you're just taking a look at raw numbers, they have a nice ratio and differential. What I worry about with Buffalo, I think, is what we all worry about with young teams. They're being young, having a young core
Inexperience.
together.
Yep,
Yep.
inexperience.
I'll tell you one team that doesn't scare me, or at least in the last, like I said, since I've been watching hockey. They're in a lot of low scoring games, but they're not scoring, which is Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston, I'm not worried about. One team I'm also not worried about in the Eastern Conference, I think, is the Blue Jackets. It's a nice story that they're starting to, get in on their winning ways again, but I just don't think in the playoffs up against the Hurricanes, that's who they would play right now. I think the Hurricanes would pretty well handle
I
that
think they
team.
would destroy them.
Yeah, I think at the most we'd probably see 5 games. Whereas my Pittsburgh Penguins and the Islanders, it's a series I don't like for the Penguins right now, given this team. The Islanders are a young team that's really in a different kind of energy surge than the Penguins. You know, the Penguins have a youth movement, but they don't have a Matthew Schaefer at the helm, leading this team as a rookie and starting to be the face of the franchise. So my Penguins worry me in that matchup. And if they do manage to get past it, the Hurricanes are too good in the East right now.
I just
88
want to
points.
say also out west, Jamie Benn has been playing very well.
Yeah.
Jamie Benn and Miro. I'm not gonna pronounce that one.
Heiskanen.
On Dallas. They've also been playing very well as I've been watching.
Yeah, Dallas has been once again the thorn in A Train side is coming back to haunt him. Hopefully, he gets to at least have the Mammoth as the first round team, or if it's gonna be the Mammoth. I don't see the Predators coming back, but the Stars and the Wild hopefully can damage each other before seeing you, huh, buddy?
The Flyers are on the board.
The model of consistency in the West, honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's why I don't. That's part of the reason why I haven't liked the divisional rounds the last couple years. I think the Central Division is is the playoffs for me every year. I think that is the West. Yeah.
Yeah.
Graham, I have
But
to be honest with you. I know Minnesota has a really good record, but they're another team, not enough offense.
No, they have a decent amount of offense. They're right in the mucky middle
I
when it
haven't
comes to
seen it in the
scoring.
last 2 weeks at least.
Well, in the last 2 weeks, they've still gone. In the last 10 games, they've still gone 7-10, 2-1. So I'm not the Wild. I am worried about. Billy Guerin's a smart GM so far for putting this team together. He's going to regret it later with all the picks that might have gone out the window, of course. But the Wild are in win now mode. They're deep at goaltending. They're deep at defense, and they've got speed. We'll see if Kirill will get this opportunity to light it up in the playoffs. But that's a team, I think, if the Stars underestimate, that's not going to be very fun for the Avalanche to play against either, because they have given the Avalanche some tough games this year, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, we got the best of them last time, so I'm not too worried. Shout out Nathan McKinnon.
What?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm glad my guy's not getting suspended now over, a second major penalty, to get him suspended a game. So he's not going to face that game suspension for that bullshit call. Sorry.
Well, Zegras with his 32nd assist of the season.
Yeah, well, good for that scumbag. So, Nate McKinnon, I'll tell you what, Nate Mac, I saw the play. I saw what happened. I
Was it
saw what
dirty?
went down. And no, I don't think so. I
Thank you.
heard something from one of the writers on the hockey news say that, well, he shouldn't be skating that hard directly into a goaltender. And that's my whole thought process when hearing that is I guess we shouldn't skate hard ever then if we're going to accidentally hit into somebody. It's what kind of comment is that? That's how Nate has played his entire career. And how many goalies have ever been injured because of his style of play? Nick Nurse helped cause this injury. I think
Yes.
people fail to
Thank you.
forget that.
Thank you. He was pushed into the goalie by Nick Nurse. Come on.
Yeah, Nick Nurse's head, he pushed Nate's hip right into Connor's head. It all happened at once, all at
Bang,
the
bang.
same time.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of those circumstances. It's just unfortunate on all parties because Nick Nurse was trying to get back and to stop him, obviously, and it looked like he just went down something, whether it was the ice or the hit.
Whatever.
It's not Nate's fault. So whereas my guy, Evgeny Malkin, oh, it was his fault. That was
Right.
100% his fault. Mr. Malkin wanted to go ahead and take a lumberjack chop. He was very, very unhappy about the game.
What did he get? 2
Probably
games?
no, he got 5 games for
Oh,
that
5 games.
lumberjack
My bad.
chop. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, he deserved it. It is what it is. It's the second time he's done something like that in his career for the illegal slash. And of course, it was against the Buffalo Sabres, who were handling us pretty well because I think Robert, who is not allowed to root for the Penguins anymore, NMP Robert, who hosts the wrestling show on Tuesdays at 8 p.m., he is not allowed to root for our Penguins anymore. And Southgate, I heard he's coming for you and your Hurricanes, so you better watch out. That's all I'm going to
Can't
say.
do it. Well, actually, Southgate needs 2 third-period goals. Can we get them? I need Aho. It's off to the Stanley Cup we go. And I need Morgan Geeky.
Geeky, I'm not sure if I think maybe he's going to start slowing down. The Sharks team is looking really fast tonight against him, but I do think our boy Aho is going to score a goal for you tonight, possibly.
Yeah, because I got Austin Matthews in, which he was due. It was like 4 or 5 games without a goal.
Yep.
And you know what? I hesitated because I seen 6 games without a goal for Tavares, and I didn't put him in.
Yep.
Shame on me.
I think it is shame on you because tonight we're going to see the Penguins hopefully have Mantha put up a goal against the Vegas Golden Knights and also see Carlson get 2 points.
I mean, unless we can go get a goal from Timo, and then
what's Timo's last name?
Mirror.
It's actually easier than you think. It's Meyer.
Mirror.
They tricked me with the I. Why
got
can't
you
they
good.
just put a Y there?
It wasn't even that hard, Southgate.
It's because they knew we were going to be asking you about their names here for,
Well, I know.
every Thursday at 8.
Mirror.
Well, I know I'm not pronouncing this one correctly, but Nikos.
Natchez.
Yes.
Natchez.
That
Yeah,
one
see,
I
that's
threw
where
up
they
too,
get you. That's where they
Yeah,
get
they
you.
got to put an H.
Yeah.
Well,
Another
anyway,
shirt coming soon. They got to put an H.
we could do it Timo, and then an H just later would make Southgate happy.
He's been hot. He's been hot lately, huh, Southgate? You like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you like that.
He has been hot. I'm also looking for later, if anybody's going to be watching the Blackhawks and the Mammoth game, I'm looking for my boy Logan Cooley to get involved. And I'm hoping that Clayton Keller can finally get back on the scoring schneid and start getting back into action. It seems like he's been a little stale since the break. So Clayton Keller, looking for him to get back on.
Hey, I'm just curious. What happened to Kyle Connor?
Ever since the break,
Nothing.
Kyle Connor has been struggling. Mr. Connor for the Winnipeg Jets hasn't been doing the best as of late since playing for Team USA. But the last two games, his last five is really he's improved the last three. Really, if you look at his how he's been playing, he finally got back on the scoring board against Tampa Bay in a win when they got up 4-1 in that one on March the 5th. But one assist and an overtime loss to or an overtime win to Vancouver, a -3 in that loss to Anaheim, and
But
that
did
team.
he even really do that good in the Olympics?
So he had for me, he had one game that he had a
Yeah.
pretty decent showing in. I would say he played solid, but wasn't called upon to play those big minutes like the other guys. So maybe wasn't given the opportunity completely.
Yeah.
Oh,
But hey, he's still doing, despite what's happening right now, Southgate. He still has 71 points in 63 games this year. He's on the verge of scoring 30 for the fifth consecutive season, which would end up being his eighth time scoring 30 in 10 years. So it's this is just maybe a little bump in the road for him at the moment. I can see him turning it on maybe in his next 5 games, especially this is the push. This is the push right now for the playoffs. We basically have 7 to 9 games left in general for
well,
everybody.
Anaheim just officially blew their 3-1 lead.
Wow.
It's
Jeez.
4-3. It's 4-3 Toronto. Nylander on a power play, and 3 assists tonight for Nice.
Matthew Nees. Oh, I do like Matthew Nees. It's good to see him producing out there, even though I
Yeah.
don't like Toronto. So we're gonna do one quick last little segment here before we get on out of here. We want to talk a little bit about the President's Trophy winners from the last few years, and in general, since the President's Trophy was introduced to the NHL in 85-86 season with the Oilers, it is the trophy for the most points for the leading team in the NHL. Now, out of the President's winners since this time period, it's been a few. We're looking at roughly
There's a
eight Stanley
curse.
Cup winners. It's eight
Let's just
Stanley
say
Cup winners.
let's just say how it is, Graham. There's a curse. When you win that, you don't win the Stanley Cup. That's the curse.
Well,
I call it a curse.
hey, you guys, your last time it cursed you, but the first time you did it, you won the cup back in 2000 when you got that one, the second time in your franchise history. You did win the Stanley Cup. So you're you're 1 for 3 right now with winning
Like
the
I said, it's a
Presidents.
curse, Graham. There's only been 7 teams to break the curse. That's it. 7 total. That's been able to break the curse out of all of the years of hockey. I mean, you got 2 in the 80s, 2 in the 90s, and 4 in the 2000s. So it just doesn't happen. When you win the President's Trophy, you don't win the cup. It's just I'm looking back and I'm looking at the Rangers in 23. They lost in the conference finals. The Bruins, they lost in the first round in 22.
Mhm.
The Panthers lost in the second round. The Avalanche lost in the second round. Bruins again in 19, lost in the second round. The Tampa Bay Lightning lost in the first round in 18. The Nashville Predators in 2017 lost in the second round. Like, it's just, I feel like there's a curse. I really do.
Yeah, maybe that's why we see so many of the hockey players not want to touch this trophy when
Yeah.
or even get involved with it. Much like the conference trophy, they don't want to touch it just for just superstition. The Since the Chicago Blackhawks were the last one to win the Stanley Cup as a President's Trophy winner, and that's all the way back in 2012, 2013. You know, there though, you saw a lot of success from President's Trophy winner because, in between there, you had the Red Wings in 07, 08 win the cup against my team, Pittsburgh being a President's Trophy winner. But like you said, it just seems like there's something here. The biggest one that in your and my lifetime that we've seen is the all-time points leaders, the Boston Bruins, just completely collapse in the first round against Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, that Florida team ended up going to the Stanley Cup Finals and losing, but still, no one saw that coming at that time.
Yeah, I'm looking at most wins, Graham. The Red Wings have 6. The Bruins have 4. The Rangers have 4. And then the Capitals have 3. So, I mean, it can be done. It's just not a huge list.
No.
Grandma, what do you think is a more superstitious sport? You think it's baseball or hockey? I know they're both very superstitious.
It could be equal in my eyes, depending on what
Yeah.
it is. Because if a goalie is hot, you're going to see a lot of weird goalie habits. If a goal scorer is hot, you're going to see a lot of weird goal scorer habits. Baseball, though, they might take the cake, Southie.
I
They
actually heard a hysterical story today, not to get off subject, but for baseball, I was dying laughing. Do you remember the Bo Jackson when he broke the bat over his head?
yeah.
Okay, he was 0-2 when he left 5 men on base. He struck out twice. So he went up to the clubhouse in between innings. He was DHing. And he went into the freezer to cool off. It was a hot day. And the only thing in there was beer. So he chugged 2 beers and he came back down. He got up to plate and he hit a home run. So for the rest of the season, every time he got up to bat, they made him drink a beer.
What? What a time!
Imagine.
What a time! Every time you're going up.
I just had to share that
Oof.
story. Superstition in baseball is crazy.
Well, hey, look at the bright side. If he hit a home run, he worked that beer off immediately,
Yep.
rounding the bases. But what are the chances of that every time?
Amazing.
Well, and the reason I bring it up, A Train, is I don't think your Colorado Avalanche are going to be susceptible to this so-called curse, right? Like this team is built better than the Boston team that we saw break the points record a few years ago. I think this team also, one, you're going to benefit really if you do play the Mammoth, a young team that's never experienced the playoffs in the first round. But then also, I just think right now with the way the Avalanche are playing, yes, they're winning last 10, they're 7-3, right? They lost their last game, but they're 7-3 in their last 10. I like seeing that as opposed to seeing their last 10 being 9-0-1
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
10-0, because get these losses out now. Work
Yeah,
all of this
facts.
out now. Get it
Yeah.
all out of your system against some of these teams. Get your different line combinations out of your system for some of these teams. Try different clutch situations while you have 9 games left.
Yeah, these McKinnon ejections that are crap, but yeah.
Yeah, try to adjust to life without McKinnon for a game, I guess, just to see what it feels like. Not nice, but you know.
It's the league catering to Connor McDavid. They want
It
him to
is.
be. They want him to be in there. Let's be real. That's
One more time. They're hoping third time's a charm for Mr. McDavid and Mr. Draisaitl. We will see, because this year, now more than ever, I am not convinced that the Oilers, who are losing as we speak right now in the second period to Dallas 3-0. Dallas is putting a spanking on them. You can see the differential in shots, but also Dallas right now. Sam Steele, Jamie Benn, and Jason Robertson all on the goal scoring sheet. Southgate, Jamie Benn showed up right on time.
Yep, and we spoke about it. Point just scored a goal.
Braden Point, who has been kind of off again,
Yep.
off again, on again since coming back from injury. Yeah, so that game right now, Red Wings third period, down 2-0 to the Lightning. And this is all important games, guys. You know, the Red Wings, they are right behind the Canadians by 3 points right now at 79, the Canadians 82. This loss, the Red Wings are at 66 games. They only have 6 games left. The Canadians will still have 7 left over them, and they're going to have this point lead. This is it. This is not looking good for the Red Wings. They're going to end up playing the Sabres in the first round, and if things are keeping going the way they are, that's going to be a 4 to 5 game bounce for the Red Wings. Now, before we get out of here, we are going to talk about our next NMP player next week. We don't know who that's going to be. We're going to decide and send it out. We have a couple options. We're probably going to look at some of the Blackhawks players, and we're going to look at some of the other young players in the league. Someone who might not make the playoffs, and we're not trying to exclude them. We just want to talk about playoff teams as we roll in for the season. But Southgate, out of the teams who aren't making the playoffs, what's one that you suggested to us early that maybe we should look at?
Possibly the Rangers.
Yep, definitely in there. We already did the Devils, so we've got them out of the way.
And you said you want to hold back on the Islanders, right?
Yeah, I think the Islanders are going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to stay pat right with the Penguins, right in that 2-3 range in the Metropolitan. I think someone we could also talk about is the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not doing anything this year. And with the Maple Leafs, we would really have to examine that, wouldn't we, to see who's a young player maybe locked down, because with all the strife recently after the Olympics with their main man, Austin Matthews, and the fans raining booze down on him and being very, very critical, might not want to do a guy like that, right?
Actually, yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about the Maple Leafs, hold on, let me see.
He's breaking out the stat sheet. See who sells.
Yeah, I mean, how about Nylander?
William Nylander is a guy who's been there for a while. I believe William Nylander is also locked up. He and Austin Matthews were getting paid. Obviously taking a majority of that cap, rightfully so.
Who are the younger guys there?
Well, Nylander is still relatively young, and as far as hockey years, he's still young, and he's signed through.
He's young, or
no? He is. He's still signed, obviously, till 2032.
No, I'm saying knees.
Matthew Knees?
Yeah.
Matthew Knees is relatively young. I mean, he's in hockey age. He's still young. Yes, let's say he's still young, because he's still got years ahead of him. So Matthew Knees could be a guy we can surprise with it. But sounds like we'll do Maple Leafs, since that's what Southgate was looking at, and I think we'll follow up with that. We'll release that on Monday with posts coming from all the Not Move people, all of us. And once again, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're going to play these ads going on out. Once again, we appreciate you joining us on the Not Move podcast. We're going to be back, of course, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A-Train, is there anything you want to leave us with before we head on out?
Wait. One thing, I'm sorry. Sam Bennett.
This guy.
Sam Bennett has scored. Wyatt Johnson has scored. And
wait, what was that?
Wyatt Johnson.
Hold on, what?
Wyatt Johnson.
Wyatt Johnson.
Yes. And we got to score. We got to score from Winnipeg.
Kyle Connor.
It's very general and broad. Okay.
Isaac Rosen.
You did it. The first name, not so much. The second name, though. The last name.
I wasn't sure if it was Isaac.
The surname, you nailed it.
Yeah, he's proud of it.
He should be, because as we know, Southgate, we got to watch out for the skis. We also got to make
another 5-0 Dallas. Robinson just followed up.
Oh, it's turning into a bloodbath.
Yeah,
I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Yeah, my boy Miro Heiskanen has 3 assists, so I'm happy to see that. But as always, thank you guys for joining us. We will be back. A-Train, before Southgate can stop you from your lane work. Go ahead.
I got another goal.
My gosh, this guy.
All right. So my final thoughts. Again, we covered all segment on it. Buffalo Sabres, the surprise story of the season. You're finally good after 2 decades. Shout out to you guys. And then also, I still feel like the Tampa Bay Lightning is a major threat in the East. And it's the healthy core and elite goaltending. Andrei Vasilevsky, the big cat, he's been playing pretty crazy good.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed, my Penguins can pull a win out tonight. Hopefully, get a little bit better so that they can just maybe have some home ice in the second seed in the division before they get bounced out, but at least it'll be away. So
That's another
thanks,
ski, Vasilevsky. It's another ski.
yes, there's another ski to watch out for. But thanks everyone for joining us. We will be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna roll some credits. Stay with it on the ads. Thank you again. This is Not
Thank you,
Moved.
Graham. Thank you, A-Train.
See you, Saudi.
Teaming up with BetUS, the sports book that lets you wager anywhere in the country.
And we're giving you a massive edge. Use promo code NOTMOVE when you sign up and get a 100% match on your first 3 deposits.
Plus, there's a 200% crypto bonus up to $27.50. Football, hoops, baseball, soccer, it's all in play.
Think you know sports? Ride with the underdog. Get in on Pick'em or Best Ball. Make your moves and watch the games come alive. Play $5, get 100 instantly when you sign up with promo code NOTMOVED. Turn every drive, dunk, and homer into a payday. Download the Underdog Fantasy app and start winning.
Need some new Not Moved drip? The In the Wickets hoodie just dropped. Super soft fleece, heavyweight feel, and the official NMP patch on the sleeve. Tap add to cart, check out, and let us handle the rest. In a couple days, it shows up at your door, ready to rock. Rep the podcast from the couch to the tip.
Oh, the Orphan Elimination Chamber tee just dropped. Fresh out the box. Look at this.
That print is nasty. Chain link O, silver hit. It's tough.
It's soft too, y'all. Fits right. Little drip for the Elimination Chamber weekend.
We rocking these all season.
If you're part of the Not Move fam, you already know.
Jump on it before it's
Grab
gone.
yours now at Not Move Shop.
Today's episode of Not Moved is brought to you by Open Goal, the world's #1 backyard goal. If you love soccer but hate chasing balls into the neighbor's yard, this thing is a game changer. Its rebound net sends missed shots right back to you, and the side nets keep your landscaping and your windows safe. It's perfect for kids, for training, or just having fun.
Today's episode of the Not Moved podcast is brought to you by Walmart.com. With our storefront in the Walmart app, you can get everything you need, pick up or have it delivered.
We ordered dinner while recording and it showed up before we wrapped.
Better good sweet corn and burrata ravioli.
Nuri protein drinks, even St. Patrick's Day treats.
Walmart.com.
Episode of the Not Moved podcast is brought to you by the MLB Shop. They have every team's gear, from classic caps to World Baseball Classic hoodies, all official and all ready for game day. Tap the link in our bio to head straight to the shop and snag your favorite merch.
Basketball nights just got even bigger. With NMP and MyBookie, you can bet on every matchup, no matter where you live. Tap in, pick your spread, and watch the action unfold. Start wagering in every state with NMP and their sponsor, MyBookie.ag. Use promo code NOTMOVED for up to $125.
The Not Move podcast is fueled by W Energy. Smooth, jitter-free focus, and flavors that slap. Mango, berry, watermelon. Whatever gets you locked in, they've got it. Hit up W.GG, use promo code NOTMOVED, and snag 10% off your order. Stay not moved, stay energized. Today's episode is brought to you by the NFL Pro Shop. If you want to rep your squad with fresh gear, this is where you get it.
Jerseys, hats, hoodies.
Even the sideline stuff. It's all there and it's all official. Hit the Not Move link in our bio. Gear up for
right here on TikTok. The Not Move podcast presents you Southgate's Parlays. Break the bookies, not your bank. For just $9.99 a day or $49.99 a week, you get the daily fire picks delivered straight to your phone and a direct line to Southgate himself in our private Discord. Tap the link, grab your membership at NotMoveShop.
Not Move, fam. Southgate edition just landed and it's fire. Check the tee, watch out for the skis and the wickets. Hockey stick, cricket wickets, all vibes. We got hoodies, mugs, caps, beanies, whatever you need. Cop yours before they...
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.